Okay, I got the John Deere 757 in the shop today. Having an issue. I was out mowing and all of a sudden I lost power and it was kind of backfiring. If I pushed it, kind of assumed that I had a cylinder that wasn't firing. So how I tested that was, first off I pulled the spark plug. I pulled the spark plug wire off this side while it was running and nothing happened. It just kept running. So I put that back on and then I pulled this spark plug wire off and the machine died. So what that told me is that this side is not firing. So my guess is that I got a bad coil right here. And what I've been doing is I'm trying to actually get to that coil. I have a owner's manual for this thing because I bought it new back in 2002 or something, I think it was. But it's no help at all. It shows basic stuff, but when it comes down to something like the coils and stuff like that, it offers no information. So kind of went around and checked all my plugs because it seemed like it happened like a switch was flipped and I just, it just went dead. So I kind of went around, checked all my wires, everything looks okay. So I'm in the process now of trying to get to this actual coil, and it goes behind the motor here and it's behind this cover. First thing I did, there's a big deal here with the air cleaner. I had to pull all that out. There's another little cover right here that covers the carburetor. I pulled that off. It's 4 bolts. And then now I'm trying to get this big cover off here. You got to take this off. This is your screen that keeps the debris out of there so it can cool itself with air. There's a little fan in here. Probably can't see that, but there's a little fan in there that pushes air around. And then there's 2 bolts here, 2 bolts down there, again 2 bolts here, and 2 bolts down below. Now this cover is free, this plastic cover, but it won't come out. First off, this stuff ain't gonna come out here because it's got a shaft. This is what drives the 2 hydraulic pumps on each side. So this isn't going to be able to come off. You'd probably have to pull the motor to do that, and right now I don't want to pull the motor right now. I'm trying to get to this without having to pull the motor. But I think I can slide this ahead far enough that I can get to the coils. Only thing is, I run into a problem right here, this thing here. I don't know why they have this, but there's a bracket here and it's got a diamond shape and this cover is hitting that, so I can't pull the cover away from the motor. I can on this side, but I really can't on that side. So I've come to the conclusion that I'm going to cut this off, cut this bracket straight so I can pull this cover forward, and hopefully I'll be able to have enough room to access the coil. I only need to access that coil on that side, I think. And I probably could do it without cutting this, but I have a feeling that this other coil might be next on the list to go. So I gotta know that I can either do this or I can't do this, and otherwise I gotta pull the motor. And it's probably not that bad to pull the motor. You drop the belt off the front and the back, unhook your electrical, and I think 4 bolts holds this motor down, so I don't think it's that difficult to pull the whole motor out. It is just going to be more time consuming. This thing, as far as I can see when I put the seat down, doesn't do anything, so I don't know why that's even there. So I'm just going to clearance that and we'll see if I can't get the room that I need. Okay, so I got my little piece cut off there, and it's definitely not an ideal situation to be able to work in here, but I'm pretty sure I can get in here and get this coil off. There's the coil, you can see it right there. And it's pretty dirty in here. I'm going to try to clean it up as best I can. You can see the other coil on this side is not near as dirty. So I don't know if it's just the rotation of the fan in here that makes everything go on this side maybe and gets this side all gunked up, but I'm going to try to clean it up. Hopefully I can get in here and get the new coil in place and get it adjusted with the limited room I have here. I think I could, if I take this tensioner off, I think I could probably get even a little more room here to work, but I'm going to try to do this without doing that, and we'll see. I have to wait till the John Deere dealer opens probably tomorrow to be able to find the right coil for this. So I'm going to get this one off, probably get a part number and stuff on it, maybe check online, see if I can't find something, and we'll go from there. Okay, so here's the coil out. It is held in place with 2 bolts. Here's the bolts that come out. And I think I may have found the problem already. I might not even have a bad coil here. You can see right here on the coil, this part faces the flywheel. And there's a magnet on the flywheel that rotates, and every time it comes around, it tells this coil when to fire. Well, right there is supposed to be a clear piece of metal, and then the magnet goes past that, and that's what tells it to fire. You can see it is so dirty that I don't know how it could even be firing with how much dirt as it has on it. I mean, it's supposed to be, you know, this is supposed to be exposed, and there's a set distance, I'm not exactly sure, and it's pretty tight. There's a set distance this has to be away from that magnet. So I'm thinking I might try to just clean this up, clean up inside the motor there, and I might put this back together, see if I can't get back mowing, and if not, I'll have to order a new coil. Okay, this is what it's supposed to look like after I got it cleaned up. You can see all these are supposed to be free and clear. Look at that. Made in the USA, huh? Get a shot of these numbers. Can't quite make out that top one, but I think it's worth a try trying to put this in there now that I got it clean. Like I said, it was working fine, and then all of a sudden, bam-o. I see a little bit of cracking happening on the top of this here, so it might be bad, but I think it's worth a try to get this thing going. Okay, so I've got everything cleaned up, and I got the coil back in place. You can see it there. Now you can't just bolt this down and go. There's an adjustment on that coil. There's the magnet right there on the flywheel, right there, and that spins. You can see there's the coil right there, and you need a certain amount of distance between that magnet and the coil. You know, they can't hit, and they can't be too far away, or you won't get a signal, or they won't transfer the electricity. So I don't know the spec for this. This is a Kawasaki. That's what John Deere put in these. But I do have a Kohler spec. That's 0.009 inches is what the Kohler V-twin is. And I got my gauges here, 0.009. So that's what I set it as. Not exactly sure if that's the Kawasaki spec or not. Should work. I should be able to tell if it's going to work or not with that distance. So I'm going to get everything halfway buttoned up. I'm not going to completely button this thing up. I'll fire it up and see if I can't get this thing running on all cylinders. Okay, so there is one electrical connection on this coil, and that is this black wire here. I believe that's a kill wire. There's one going to each coil, and I think when you shut the machine off, that cuts the coil out. Okay, so I got my new coil from John Deere. Looks to be identical as the old one, maybe slightly different on the top side there, but looks the same. Also picked up 2 new spark plugs. I tried to install the old coil with it cleaned. It didn't work, so got a new coil here, and we're gonna throw this in here. Hopefully she's gonna fire right up on both cylinders. Also picked up a set of blades. Mine are completely shot, so I'll probably throw them on quick once she's running good, and we'll get to mowing. I forgot to ask the John Deere dealer about the spec on the spacing, but I'm going to go with the Kohler 0.009 inches. Okay, so to bring you guys up to date here, I replaced the coil there on this side. Still didn't fix it, so I ended up pulling my carburetor off, and to do that you got to pull your whole intake off, which isn't bad. I still had enough room once I slid this plastic shroud out, so it wasn't too bad, but it did take me some time. I pulled my carburetor apart, blew it all up. There was some dirt and stuff inside there, but for the most part I guess it was pretty clean, but it's really clean now. Fired it up just now, still not working, still not firing on this cylinder here. So I just took off my valve cover, and look what I found here. You see this? Here's the rocker arm, and look at this. Look where the push rod is. It's way up here. It's supposed to be down here. It's supposed to be down there, and it's supposed to be underneath this. So apparently my rocker arm has gotten so loose or something that it just popped right off or something. So this one looks pretty loose too. I don't know all the specs for all the valves and stuff on this, and like I said, the manual is pretty much useless on this thing for any kind of major work. But here's my problem. You know, I would say that's probably maybe the intake, not even opening. Or is that the exhaust? Actually, that's probably the exhaust not opening, so that ain't good. But I haven't run it much like this anyway, so I tore my gasket and I need a new one of those. But I gotta see if I can't find some specs or something and get this rocker arm fixed. And the funny thing is here is this made absolutely no noise at all. No lifter noise, no rocker noise, nothing. So I'm kind of baffled at how this even happened. I mean, it just happened. I was mowing, and then bammo, I lost all kinds of power, and I loaded it on the trailer and brought it in here. So I don't know how I could do that without all kinds of noise, but I don't know. Try to get it fixed here. Okay, so I'm adjusting these valves, and there's a little Allen bolt in the center there that locks it in, and then you adjust your other nut. That's what actually tightens it up. And what I'm doing is I've got it on the compression stroke where both valves are closed. Right now I don't have it on there, but how I adjusted it, I found the compression stroke which both valves are closed, and then I just did like this one here where it's like really is no clearance. It's just kind of snug, but not too snug. And called the John Deere dealer to get a spec. Basically, they said they're too busy and for me to look it up online, so I don't know. You know, just because something's online doesn't mean it's right. I'd rather hear it from the John Deere dealer, but apparently they're too busy. So kind of disappointed there. You know, if they just put it in the manual, I bought a $9,000 ZTrack. You know, if they just gave me a manual with all the specs, I wouldn't have to call them, and I would know what this valve clearance is. It's in the manual to adjust that, I think every 300 hours. So I don't know why that spec is not in the manual. So kind of disappointed, kind of irritated a little bit. But I got this all tight. I'm gonna throw the cover on even though it's broken here. I want to fire this up, see if this is the problem. I'm pretty sure it's the problem. I mean, when your push rod is not on your rocker arm, that's an issue. I did pull the push rod out and I kind of rolled it on a flat surface to make sure it wasn't bent, is why it come off, and it looked straight to me. So I don't know if this valve just got so loose that she popped off or what. Like I said, it wasn't making any noise, but I think I found the problem, and I'm gonna button this up, we're gonna fire it up, and hopefully she's gonna run good. Okay, so this has gone from bad to worse in a hurry. Adjusted my valves or the rocker arms, I thought. Still wouldn't run. So I kind of figured maybe that I blew a head gasket. So I did a compression test. There's 0 compression on this head, or this side. This side had 90 pounds, I believe it was. And so you pulled the head, you can see, and what I found, the head gasket looks okay. There's a little bit of discoloration over here, but I think that's just due to heat, because that's the exhaust side. What I have found though, on the head here, is the exhaust valve was stuck open. I'll throw a picture up here and show you what I found when I first got it. The exhaust valve was stuck open. So, you know, at first I was thinking that, you know, maybe a bent valve or something somehow happened. But when I pulled the valve out, I found that the valve guide had fallen down. Now right now I pounded it back up, but I'll show you a picture. It had fallen out, and the valve was getting jammed up. It couldn't go back. It wouldn't allow it to go back because the valve guide had fallen down so far that it was hitting the valve here, the rough part of the valve, and it wouldn't close. That's why I had no compression. As far as why that valve guide fell down, I am not sure why the valve guide would have fell all the way down. It was even flush with this, which is supposed to be the other way around. It's supposed to be flush down there and stick up here, and then you got your valve seals right here that go on top of the valve guide. This side was okay. Nothing was wrong with this side. But yeah, that's what I found here. I got the thing all tore apart. I think I'm gonna just go with this, what I got. I mean, I pounded the valve guide back into place. It took quite a bit of effort to do that. I mean, I don't think it's just gonna fall down again. I really don't know if that's common with these V-twins or what, but I may go get some new valve guide seals along with a head gasket, and then of course intake gaskets, and then exhaust gaskets, and then you know, I'll put it back together, I guess, and we'll see what happens. Okay, so here's the piston and the cylinder wall here, and it looks okay. I mean, it's a little cruddy looking, but I don't think that's excessive. You know, the wall looks okay, I think, on the cylinder here. So I think I'm just going to get some new gaskets and put this thing back together, see if she'll run. I don't think there's no sense in totally rebuilding this thing. I think I've got, I don't know what I got, 600 some hours on it or something like that. So I don't think there's no sense in totally rebuilding this thing. I'm going to put her back together. Like I said, go get some new gaskets so everything's sealed up. So I got her all back together. You can see it is running on both cylinders now. I'll fire it up in a second. The only thing that I think is important to know about reinstalling the head is the torque. The final torque is 19 foot-pounds, but you want to do it in stages. The first torque would be half of 19 foot-pounds, and then second stage would be 3/4 of 19 foot-pounds, and then finally you do the full 19 foot-pounds. You're going to want to do a crisscross pattern on the head. So you do the head bolt there, there, and there, you know, just like you would a wheel. You want to crisscross the torque sequence. Now, I'm not sure about how to adjust the rocker arms. I'm going to order the manual, I think, and then I'll do a separate video adjusting these valves. I think I got it close to where they need to be, close enough so I can run it. But I think I might hear a little bit of a lifter noise. So I probably don't have them adjusted perfectly. So like I said, I'll get the manual, I'll get the real manual, and I'll do a separate video on adjusting these valves on these Kawasaki V-twin. I can fire it up here. Now, I don't know if you can hear that in the video, but I hear what I think is like a lifter tick on the valves there. So, but it is running on all cylinders, so I'm happy with that. So hopefully she's going to be good to go here for a long time once I get the rocker arms adjusted. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video here. There'll be more to come on the mower. I got a few other things I want to fix on this thing while it's in here. And I'll see you guys in the next one.